Hey guys, I hope this video is going to find all of you well. And this is about one of the most common questions that Aprilia Tuono owners hear. And that is, how expensive it is to maintain your motorcycle. So let's take a look here at the 6.2 thousand mile service for my Aprilia Tuono, which is the second service that the Tuono undergo. The first one is at 600 miles or 1,000 kilometers, and the second one is at 6.2 thousand miles or 10,000 kilometers. I am about to start a trip, so I did this service a little bit ahead of time at the 6,000 mile mark. We're going to take a look at that in the next page. But this gives you an overall summary of how much was the service. And I did here in the Thousand Oaks Powersports dealer, which is my local dealer here in Ventura County, California. And the total cost was almost $654. But actually, only $230 approximately was the service itself. And we're going to take a look at that later. But the important thing for you to keep in mind is that the service was about $230 out of this complete bill, because as you can see here, I also had to replace my front tire, and it was almost $340, which was way too expensive. Again, I was squeezed between two trips, so I didn't have a lot of choice. I don't have a lot of time to go around and shop for tires given my schedule, so I just got the tires at the dealer itself, and the price was about, let's say, about 40% more than what I could have paid if I had shopped around. But let's take a look at the detailed build and see how we got to those $240 approximately for the 6.2 thousand mile, 10,000 kilometers, or the second service of an Aprilia Tuono. So let's take a look now at the detailed bill for the 6,000 mile, or it's more appropriate to call 6.2 thousand miles, which is the equivalent to 10,000 kilometer service on an Aprilia Tuono. And as you can see here, I have a 2017 Aprilia Tuono V4. I have the factory model. There is a picture here of the bike on the side. And as you can see, I brought the bike in at the 6,040 miles, and they did a 3-mile test ride, so it came back at 6,043 miles. So a description of the service, well, this is very similar to what you'd expect in any 6,000 mile motorcycle, whether you have a Triumph or a Honda or a Ducati. This is essentially the typical services which are done. So certainly the replacement of the oil, the engine oil, and the filter that comes with it, the cleaning, lubrication, and adjustment of the chain, adjustment of the chain tension, lubrication of the suspension, the rear suspension pivot points, adjustment of the throttle cable. And in this case, keep in mind, of course, that this is kind of a standard language because the Tuono has a fly-by-wire throttle. The throttle is actually electrically actuated. It's not a cable like traditionally used in motorcycles. The adjustment of the clutch cable, checking the brake systems. I am very, very happy, in fact, with the brakes of this Tuono. They inspect the coolant, the cooling system, and here you can see that I asked for an additional service to be made, which was the draining and replacement of the coolant. And this is after a situation which I experienced in Death Valley, which was not related to the motorcycle itself. I explained this in a video that I am publishing the link in the description below so you guys can follow the whole story. But anyway, in this case, I asked for the coolant to be replaced, and this added about $64 to the bill, as you can see below. They checked the battery, they checked the operations of all electric switches and controls and the TFT panel and everything, checked the main bolts and fasteners to make sure that everybody was tightened to torque, checked tires, and they also reset the ECU and then downloaded the latest map for the engine monitoring and management system. So this was also free and part of the 6,000 mile service. Let's now take a look at the costs here. So as you can see, it's pretty much what you would expect at a motorcycle, nothing really extraordinary here. You know, they are charging me for the parts, the cleaner they use to clean the chain and things like that. These prices here are very reasonable. The ENI or ENI, as we call in Italian, antifreeze at $14, that's actually not a bad price at all. It's actually a competitive price. And they charge me 1.5 hours of labor and half an hour of that extra service to replace the coolant. So if you take out the $50, the half an hour to replace the coolant, and the $14 here for the coolant itself, instead of $292, it will be about $230 the cost of this service for the Tuono. Again, this is the 6,000 mile service in the Tuono. Now let's take a look also, as I said, that the total bill was $654 approximately, and the large culprit for this expensive bill was actually the front tire, because the front tire, and I bought a Pirelli Supercorsa V3, which is almost, it's almost $272. It's an expensive tire, but it's a tire that I liked a lot. But if I were smarter and if I had planned better, I would have shopped around, and you can get this tire by about $180, $160 instead of $271. Unfortunately, I am limited in my time. Because of business and family, I have limited time to take care of the motorcycle. I put all the time I have onto riding it, and I have very little time for other things related to the bike. So anyway, I got the tire at the dealer, and it was pretty expensive, as you can see here. So this tire here, the front tire, I'm pretty sure you can get by $180, not by $272 as I paid. So when you factor, the tire is more. The tire and the installation of the tire and the balancing of the front wheel was more than half of the total $653 that I paid for the 6,000 mile service and these additional works. All right, so just to wrap up, the total cost was $654, of which the service itself was about $230, which I think is a very competitive price. It's not too far from what you would pay for a service on your Honda or Yamaha or Kawasaki. It's a pretty similar price. Ducatis are on another level altogether. The services are way more expensive than that. My experience is that a 6,000 mile Ducati would be at least $450 instead of this $230 more or less that I pay. All right. Well, I hope this helps some of you who are interested on the cost of ownership of a Tuono. And I see you on the road, guys. Take care and goodbye.